Hey there YouTube, I'm Yukitsu, this is the Yukitsu Times, welcome to my channel, welcome to more Rome 2 Total War and a very new silly DLC that came out recently. It's the Beasts of War one, Let's Slip the Dogs of War or something, and it's got a few silly units that you can add to your army now. Currently I don't think they have any actual practical application to them, but they are very silly and a lot of fun to use, so I've been playing them and I haven't won a single battle using them because they're that bad, but yeah, they're pretty interesting. If you happen to want to waste like $3 on something that's probably going to lose you a lot of battles but is hilarious to use, this is how to do it. Anyway, let's go through the list here. If you go to Greek city-states or Athens, for instance, they've got these Greek beehive onagers, which launch bees at people. That is literally a thing that they do here. Carthage, if you switch to them, they've got the snake catapult, snake pot ballista. This actually probably was historical, except it was used for naval battles, not for land battles. I don't know if they've got them for naval battles here. Yeah, if we look at their naval roster here, they do not actually have an artillery ship that shoots snakes, so that's their bad, but go back to land battles here, and go back to... Actually, no, wait, what the hell? Oh no, that's switched me to Athens. Okay. There's still no beehive launching... Yeah, okay, so they just screwed that up completely. And let's go on to Epirus. As you can see, they've got a new type of war dog, and they're also a Greek state, so they've got the Greek beehive onager. They've got the new Iceni war dog, the Celtic warhounds. A little bit weaker than the Epiron ones, but they're a lot cheaper. Macedon is another Greek state, so they've got the same thing. Parthia, they've got a scorpion launching catapult, and a scorpion pot ballista, rather. And this I've used a couple times. I can't figure out how to use these sort of things, like the bee launcher or anything like that. They are all terrible. They don't seem to actually do anything. Maybe a poison round lasts the entire battle, and you're supposed to just sort of cover it across their entire army. I'm not really sure. But it doesn't seem to actually do much. If we go to the Carthaginian snake one, if I recall, that also has the poison round effect, and I think the Greek onager also does that. Rome also has the bee launching onager for some reason. As you can see, also poison round, so lots of bee stings, poisons them, makes it so that they fight less effectively. Doesn't seem to actually be that effective. Seleucids are one of the ones that got something really strange. They've got, for some reason, another type of elephant, mercenary Syrian armored elephants. Really heavily armored units, pretty much the same as the Indian armored elephants, but as far as I can tell, their stats are identical. It's just that their ranged abilities are slightly different for some reason. I don't really know. I think that they are probably very analogous to one another. I did forget one thing, Parthia. They've also got these camel cataphracts. And camel cataphracts are, I think, an interesting unit. They have a really high charge and armor and health, just like their other cataphract brethren. They've got higher melee attack, but less than the Royals, and their weapon damage and charge bonus are a little bit worse than the Royals, but they're all around fairly similar to them, and they've also got scare horses, but they don't have inspire, so a mix of these two can be very good in a combat against other cataphracts or whatever. Personally, I still think that it's better to take camel archers, but that's just me. I'll try and figure out if there's a use for the camel cataphracts in particular, but it feels to me like they're just a little bit too expensive or something for what they do compared to the royal cataphracts or the eastern cataphracts. I'm not really much of a Parthia player these days though, so that could be different than I'm expecting. So yeah, let's go ahead, jump on into some quick battles here. And I've been losing all day with these units because no one else is using them, because they're absolutely terrible. They're the weakest ass things that I've ever seen. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try and use them to our best effect that we can, but I'm kind of expecting utter failure because if you hit people, you could hit the same unit 10 times with the scorpion pots and it will kill 5 guys, and it's just oh my god, I could have killed so many other units with that, but if there was a regular catapult. But yeah, I guess the point of them is that you hit multiple units and the debuff lasts long enough that will stick to them. So yeah, one of the things with artillery is that they're one of the reasons to actually go ahead and use pike lines, because you kind of want your lines to stay together and be effective like that. So we're going to go ahead and take the snake pot ballista. It's probably going to betray us horribly, but that's okay. We're not here to do anything too serious today. We're here to try out these silly, silly things. And I could also take an African elephant, potentially. That might be a good idea. Do I have enough pikes? I don't think I've got quite enough pike. Actually, no, we have probably got enough pikes for this particular composition, so we'll take the African elephants. And yeah, that's going to be our army. It's a pretty small one because we've got these African elephants, which are going to help us destroy anything that tries to move around our front flanks and hold up things long enough that our pikes can get in there. We've got these mercenary Balearic slingers. They should be pretty good. And these little hoplites are just going to keep enemies busy while we try and do other things. So what we're going to try and do in this battle is just hit each of his sword units or spear units or whatever melee units he's got with a single pot of snakes, and that will get that debuff on him. And hopefully what this will do is it'll make it so that our units can win decisively in melee combat. Like, I'm still pretty sure that these units are going to prove to be pretty useless, though. They just have so few applications that I can really see compared to what I was saying last video. Like, remember those patch 9 videos I was talking about? How I thought that in this current patch, the metagame would just be medium sword infantry, completely spammed to shit, and just designed to destroy anything that comes near them. That seems to be exactly what's going on. So currently the way things are going, people are in fact just going for those medium cost, high efficiency sword units that don't cost too much, but they're really effective. And that's a really effective strategy. That's a really powerful strategy that's been really working well for a lot of people. And it's... the thing is, I kind of like the look of it, where people both have like big blocks of units and big blocks of infantry, unlike this sort of weird gimmicky army with these like tiny catapults and their tiny bodyguard. Using a whole ton of infantry feels right to me. So I kind of like it on those terms, but I don't like the fact that it really is cutting into the variety. And I also don't like the fact that like it really seems to favor certain armies way more than others, and I feel that that's sort of a problem. But on the other hand, like I've been seeing more Roman players taking like slings, which is good, or ranged units rather, because like this pike wall that I've got going here, being able to sling it to death or archer it to death is sort of still in style. And the thing is, now they can afford a ton of archers in addition to their ton of swords, so they've been doing that lately in addition to that if they're against a pike running faction. Which is another reason that I find that pikes just aren't really necessarily all that good right now. But it's not necessarily their fault, it's more that... It's not so much that the pikes are bad per se, it's just that they're overcosted now for what they do. Yeah, we're gonna launch a bundle full of snakes at our opponents here. Let's see how that does. Hello, snakes? Well, I've launched... Oh, I launched it as cavalry for some reason. Okay, let's not fire it as cavalry. Okay, so we're definitely going to take these guys off fire at will, actually, because we want this guy spreading the love and the snakes across as many different units as possible. Actually, these guys got poisoned too. Interesting. One of the other things I've noticed is that units that have been poisoned like this move way, way slower. It's like a lot slower than I thought they were going to move because of it. So I think that disrupting units so that they can't maneuver properly is supposed to be a big part of what you're doing here. But I'm not really sure how effective that really is, because you can't necessarily capitalize on that all that effectively. Okay, so that's another unit that's been poisoned. And as you can see, these units aren't really taking that many losses. The snakes look like they're more deadly than the scorpions were. The scorpions basically got no kills, but this seems like it's doing a little bit better. Interesting. Okay, so those guys have been hit. Let's get these guys. And our opponent also has war dogs, in case you haven't noticed. That's good, I guess. Let's get these auxiliary cavalry away from here if we can. Okay, and let's poison some dogs, because animal cruelty. Let's get these Evocati cohorts, actually. Those are gladiator spearmen, so if I charge them, they're basically screwed. Okay, and that unit has been poisoned, and it does look like the poison does wear off eventually, so even though it's a longer lasting debuff, it seems to... Our opponent's sort of reacting, I think, badly to the fact that I've got this pike line here. Because I don't think this is how you counter a pike line. Okay, so dogs are running into my pike line. I hope that that would not work well for the dogs. Yeah, that works terribly for the dogs. Holy Jesus. Okay, so he's charging hoplites with those guys. Interesting choice. I would not agree with it. Let's get these auxiliary cavalry over here as well.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
And I think that's our pots out of ammunition there.
Our general is under attack.
This guy's trying all sorts of tricky maneuvers. We are stomping all over him with elephants, though, so that's perfectly fine by me.
The men are wavering.
Yeah, we're probably going to lose, like, all our slingers here, but that's fine. They have done quite a lot of work already, so that is fine. Let's have our general
Our men flee the field of battle.
rally these guys.
This is a shameful display. My lord!
Okay.
Our men flee the field of battle.
And these guys will probably actually rally. So that is fine. These war dog handlers have decided to join the fray. That is fine by me. And as you can see, like, the poison effect is completely worn off of his entire army, so that's just gone. Hasn't really helped all that much, honestly. Okay, so let's get our pikes realigned here. Let's get these guys over here. Okay, so we've still got 2 of our units of slingers, that's fine. Okay. Now then, we're probably going to have to do that pike rush thing again. We've still got our elephants, so let's get those around to the flank here. Let's get these guys around to here. Now, what we want to do in this situation, sort of, is just get our units into a position where they can sort of come around and hammer him in a flank. And in particular, I want to be able to use my elephants effectively, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to rush him with our pikes again. Which is something you've seen me do before. Okay, and I want to be hitting whatever units I can, really. Doesn't really make a difference at this point in time. Okay, so he's starting to sort of run away. He's trying to kite me a little bit, but he's lost a unit in the process, so that's fine. Okay. Okay, so it's going to be a lot harder for him to run now. Just because he's got so many units committed into melee attack now. Okay, let's get our general out of there. Let's get these war elephants to break through that line there.
The battle is turning in our favor.
Okay, so this one is mostly because our opponent reacted very strangely to the attack that I had. He probably shouldn't have tried to run around my army. He should have just tried to face my army pretty much right off the bat. Because when he was running around in circles like that, he wasn't shooting at me, which he kind of needed to be. And he also wasn't rushing into a better position. He was just getting shot.
Has used all its ammunition.
Okay, well, that is... Oh, it's my elephants that ran out of ammunition. Fantastic. Okay, so... Yeah, let's just have our elephants start chasing these guys down. Let's have these guys chasing the elephants down. Okay. This guy's switched targets, I think, to my elephants, but this is going to let me sort of insta-shatter these guys.
Elephants!
Like men awaiting orders.
There we go. And if I kill his general here, his army's going to mass rout. Actually, it already did. Okay, well... I think the reason he wasn't willing to sort of go in for the kill... Oh, that got 160 kills this game? Peculiar. There's still... Actually, no, it was probably because I was also hitting these Balearic Slingers, and the Balearic Slingers are something that these things can kill. I noticed that they do okay against really lightly armored units, but... yeah, I get the feeling like if he had just sort of rushed straight forward into my lines, the Snake Pot debuff might have helped my units win a little bit harder than they otherwise would have. So it's sort of a cost-risk thing, I guess, is if he like rushes forward with his army and you've got some shots off, he's got that debuff. But I guess it was helpful in this capacity in that, like, since he tried to avoid combat while he was poisoned, I got off a lot of shots with these mercenary Balearic Slingers, but it would have been very easy for him to just sit outside of my range and wait for me to run out of ammunition, wait for the poison debuff, and then rush in. Because the actual number of kills for the amount of cost that I paid for that, it's still not really that worthwhile. Anyway, that's a look at the DLC that we've got right now. Some of the other stuff plays like pretty much normal, like the other things I've used in other videos, like the War Dogs are pretty much just War Dogs. And the elephants are basically just elephants, and the cataphracts are actually pretty similar to cataphracts. It's just they have that little fear aura. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything they've added into this little DLC. It's very silly, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun against the AI. But because of the prohibitive cost, like 1,560 for the Scorpion Pot Ballista is too much for multiplayer matches. So that's going to have to be completely sidelined to just the campaign mode. Fortunately, playing as Epirus, that means I'm going to be able to unlock the bee launching onager in the campaign, and the Molosian dogs in the campaign, which are both going to be pretty interesting. The Molosian dogs in particular I'm interested to see, because the dogs tend to work really well against the AI in campaign mode. But anyway, I hope that you found this informative, and as always, I hope to see you all next time.